Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Demi's vlog, and we haven't done many of these lately, and mainly it's because he reduced his training load, his filming while working on his thesis, and so again this put a lot of stress on him, took a lot of time away, and so we had dialed his training back, but now that we are back in flow, we're bringing his volumes and stuff back up. I've got plenty of footage here. I'm like, I need to start doing these again. I could have done one of these a week ago. But I decided to wait till now. I just kind of get in the mood to do it. And we're about to start adjusting his training to where we start doing a little bit of training maxes and then the volume work. But for the most part, what's his training look like? We're running an upper-lower split, almost entirely hypertrophy and bodybuilding oriented. And keeping in mind, when Demi first came on as a client, what did we do? We were pursuing powerlifting. However, over time, as things have changed in his professional practice, with what he's doing in his life, and realizing that he really enjoyed the compliments of people noticing how much bigger he looked. Like we had conversations about that. You know, he's in a lab coat and showing up doing a residency. You know, he's like all the other people. They notice, man, your shoulders are so much wider. You know, he got bigger. Like we put a fair amount of muscle on him. You know, and then he's at his gyms. He's like, man, I'm noticing I'm you know, like one of the biggest guys in the gym now. People notice, you know, and we did that in what, about 6 months? In 6 months' time, you know, we took him to that point to where he really had people start noticing. And keeping in mind, he's a tall guy. He's like 6'3". So, you know, scaling on camera versus then when you see people in person, this is a guy who's, you know, gosh, what is he weighing? He's over 220 pounds at this point, like 230 or something at 6'3". You know, people notice. And I think this is a take home that people need to have. I think people forget when they see the internet, and we see so much of this, you know, we forget when they see the internet that to impress the average person walking down the street, you don't have to be Chris Bumstead. Okay? On the internet, you have to pretty much look like a high-level physique competitor or a fitness model for people to say you look like you lift, right? In fact, if you place third in a physique contest at the national level, the internet's going to say that you look like trash. You don't even look like you lift, dude, all right? Even if you're, you know, an untested one running plenty of gear. In person, that's just simply not reality, right? That is not reality. In the real world, this guy who we put muscle on, again, he's like 6'3", 230 or so, I think. I think he's 230-ish at the moment, all right? Who's gained quite a bit of muscle. You know, guy deadlifts well over 500 pounds. He squats over 400 pounds. To the average person, this guy's big. All right? And again, people need a context for these things. And keep in mind that he's drug-free. He doesn't use anything. And again, this is something that has to be highlighted online. And I think people forget this most of the time. Right? They forget this. They get so caught up in the most extreme competitive physiques that they don't realize that this guy walking around in public is probably the biggest, most jacked guy in the room. Okay? Reality. You know, in my case, I can't go to the store without comments. Right? Because again, that's the real world. All right, so what are we doing here? Basic movements. I've got him doing pull-ups. We're doing band assist for pull-ups. All right, we're doing band assist on pull-ups so that he can actually do them because he can't get the reps that I want with body weight yet. We do flat bench, we do some incline, we do rows. All right, we do barbell rows. And we're doing a fair amount of arm work because arms still need to really come up for him. Just like for me, arms need to come up. Now, we made his back come up massively. His back has grown the most. Like, he was surprised. It's like everybody noticed because he's like, I didn't really train my back. I thought deadlifts would cover it. He thought once he got to a 500 deadlift, he'd have a big back. No, we needed a lot of rows. But then we do a lot of arm work for him because a taller guy with longer arms, because of his proportion, arms are always going to need the most work. All right? The issue I run into with my wingspan and torso size, even though I'm not super tall because I don't have the long legs, I have the same upper body proportions as a guy his height. So I understand, and I feel that struggle. So for him, his arms are going to be a big deal. So you guys will notice we do a lot of arm supersets, right? So we do all the pressing and pulling, and then we come in and we do a lot of supersets with curls and with tricep extensions back and forth. We try to get a really good pump in the arms. So again, we think of his arms like a bodybuilder, absolutely, right? And that's how we have to train for him because, again, we can do a lot of big, heavy compound movements. Right here, he's doing deficit deadlifts for rep work. We're about to take these over to some training maxes, though, and then we're just going to do pump and hypertrophy work after that, which is really a style I like for people who care about their physique at all. It's actually my preferred protocol these days. All right, so that's kind of one of the things I'm getting away from more and more. The longer I've coached people, the more I feel that top-end sets end up beating lifters up way too much. If we want to get stronger, we don't need to chase an AMRAP on the big three. We can do moderately heavy singles to build your strength. And it doesn't have to be the big three. It can be on any lift that you care about your 1 rep max on later. Okay, and get in and build muscle after that. So his lower body days, what do? We do a lot of belt squats because he happens to own one, right? So now this is his home gym. So we do belt squats. We do reverse hyperextensions. We do glute ham raises. Okay? This sounds very much, still West Side-ish because we started in with conjugate. And it is, and that's okay because this stuff still works. We're still in a lot of ways athleting the lower body. And I think there's something to be said for that, for guys who are not necessarily chasing competition physique lower body, right? To bodybuild the upper body and athlete the lower body. So we tend to focus a lot on these movements still for him, right? So a lot of his lower body days right now, we've been doing either heavy squat or heavy deadlift, and then we do belt squats, glute ham raises, reverse hypers, hanging leg raises, right? And this combination works very, very well. It's a combination I personally use. I still use to this day. So again, this is what we do for Demi. And again, his training will be changing a little bit moving forward. We're going to start doing some top singles. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.